YouTube, we are in the top 16 of the Meta Weekly $1,000 tournament, and this is right before the new pack coming out this week on Wednesday, which we will be streaming on Twitch the day of the release to see if Crystron will be top tier or not. A lot of people are saying it's not going to be. And you have to remember for today's event, we have 2 branded fusion. We have full power Sprite with, of course, the Totally Awesome still being banned. Now, Sprite had a great performance last week of getting into the top cut, but then all of them within the top cut, they fell within the top 16. By watching as long as you can, that greatly supports this event. Even if we're on the background while you're doing laundry or working out, Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Begin. We're going to draw phase the High Spirit, sending a Titan Clad from the extra deck, searching for a Fallen Albaz. We're now going to Gold Sark, banish from the deck a Tragedy or a Mercurier. The Tragedy is going to be triggering, searching our deck for our Alubur play. Cartesia is going to be special summonable, while we have an Albion in graveyard, because it's considered to be an Albaz, as we now normal summon Alubur to completely play around impermanence. Gamma. Negate and destroy the Alubur. Cartesia's not going to dodge the negate, but we're going to at least be able to fuse the Alubur before it gets destroyed. The Titan Clad is also going to get banished before the end phase, activating to summon a Quem from the deck. It's now going to a Grand Granule. Grand Granule could send from the deck to the grave a Serenir, which could send a branded spell or trap card here, and then the Albion could send the other branded spell or trap card to then get into the graveyard a branded fusion to then add it back to the hand, which is what our Alubur wanted to do. And exactly what I said is happening. We're going to send a Retribution first. Retribution is actually... Was that a mistake? You added back High Spirit with Retribution. We already activated this, and we did not Albion send a branded fusion to add back to the hand? I am shocked right now. That had to be a misclick. It's just impossible to do that in real life, right? Can you confirm that was by accident? What? Oh my gosh, that was by accident. No way. We really did do that by mistake. Okay, is it over for us? We still have Cartesia, I should say Quem, Reborn Albaz to fuse the opposing player's side of the field. Drill Beam is going to negate the High Spirits, which is what we needed to get Albaz in the graveyard to Reborn with Quem to fuse with their field and then go into a Mirror Jade. I want you to understand that this was potentially 3 forms of disruption. The act of fusing with their fields, going into a Mirror Jade potentially with their extra deck monster, and with Mirror Jade non-target monster banished, send a Rinbrum, or I guess it would be 2 disruption because we're already activating the Albaz to fuse their field. But yeah, 2 forms of disruption got stopped by that Drill Beam. I think Zeus is taking advantage of what he also probably saw as a mistake, an accidental misclick, because it's pretty much public knowledge that we definitely had a way to get branded fusion to our hand. No question about it. Summon Adipity. Now, what's scary about this, and you could be really thinking about this if you're playing Nibiru, if they activate the Primite Lordy Load to summon Adipity from the deck with a Wave King Caesar on the field, Nibiru them. They can't activate it. It's not activatable. Wipe them up, and I would love to see that actually happen, though. We have Heartbeat Feather Duster to deal with the Drill Beam. Reborn the Requiem. We have 2 special summon negates, Veiler negate, Nibiru wipe the field, Beansmith in Paradise. We have Drill Beam. And the Primite Roar, do we have the Cyframe Driver? No, it's banished, so that's not going to be a disruption. 5 forms of disruption. High Spirit, send the Albion branded to the graveyard, searching for a Kit. Kit will search directly for the branded fusion. Or the Veiler will negate. Nope. Now, the problem with Kit searching for branded fusion is that we could have dodged Veiler with Cartesia, but then the branded fusion would go right back in the deck as we add it because we have to have another card in hand. You really got to be thinking about this with branded. There are so many great effects that require you to have cards in hand. The Albaz discard, the Lubellian fusion discard, the Kit add, then return back. Wave King Caesar, negate the branded in white from fusing into a Mirror Jade play using the graveyard. We're going to Cartesia, activate special summon, Wave King Caesar, again, twice in one turn. negate the activation of a special summon, negate and destroy. To battle we go. Let's take out the Lacrima. I mean, it's over from here. We don't really have any great I mean, we just got the Albion Brained Dragon, actually. Ooh, we're making plays in the end phase. You want to toggle on for this so that you can add back the Albaz. And, all right, main phase 3 is putting us back in this duel. We're going to be going right into the Lubellian Searing Dragon, making sure that we add back the Cartesia from Engraved to be able to discard it first. As we now return back the banished cards, going into a Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is going to be met with the Fiendsmith in Paradise, as the Desiree is now going to be sending a card from the field to the graveyard, which will be the Mirror Jade. We're going to non-target monster banish. The Alba Lenatus will be sent to the grave to finally get Branded Fusion in our hand. Come to me. Aluber trigger, Mirror Jade trigger. This is a good chain link block if they're potentially going to have a way to stop the summon of Aluber. Get negated. As we now grab Branded Fusion for the very next turn, if we can make it there. Now, Zeus has got to be thinking, we have to end this duel on this turn, unless we are going to be able to set up the Drill Beam to negate that Branded Fusion. Fiendsmith, Engraver, Requiem equip onto the Engraver here. We're going to send from the field to the graveyard, get rid of that Searing Dragon, as we now go into the Requiem. Requiem is going to be summoning from the deck our Lacrima Crimson Tear, send from the deck another Engraver here. We're going to use the track to summon a Lurie onto the field, as we now prep this up for a sequence play. Is this lethal damage with Agnumde? Agnumde gives Desiree piercing battle damage. Holy crap, I think it is game. Piercing lethal, 5,500. We could just send it to the graveyard with Desiree. It didn't even matter. We would be able to equip and then go in. How big does the Desiree get with it? 5,600? Yeah, even that was game without sending it to the graveyard. Nuts. We are negating the draw 2, and then it worked out. We had no other activatable card. We rolled the die. That was a big die roll. I don't know. What was that, like a roll 12, roll 20? The chances of having a follow-up play that we should have maybe saved our effect for instead. Fiendsmith control versus Memento. Let's go. We have Anguish activating to search the deck. We're going to be chaining a Maxi. Ash Blossom, negate that Maxi. Not today. And now we are going to Gamma. Gamma negate the Ash. Gamma has been making some plays today as we now finger Chain Link 5, negate, and banish the Maxi. So talking about forms of disruption here, let's see what's going to be going on here. If they're going to grab the horse, summon the horse. If you were to negate the horse with something like an Ash Blossom, in this instance, they would be able to activate Memento Fusion because they luckily have enough materials to do so, whether through the field and plus the hand. Now, the Sleepy is not special summonable until a card is destroyed. So that's why a lot of players would try to potentially just stop them from destroying. This is the act of destroying, which now turns on the secondary benefit of Memento Fusion, turns on the benefit of Sleepy. We have a Drill Beam that's not even activatable. Ooh, I don't think we could play through this field. 3, Monster Negate, pop multiple cards in the field with the Creation King. The Memento Fusion could go into a form of disruption through, let's say, a Guardian Chimera. We can also, wait, we don't have Anguish or the Mace Play to steal. We can reborn the Horned Dragon, then pop it with the Bone Party, which will pop cards in the field. And the Anguish on summon being someone from the deck will search for a Mace, which could then take control of a monster. We got 7 disruption with this field. This is nuts. The Regained, we're not triggering Combined Creation. Maybe we want to play around a Triple Tactics Talent, potentially. Lurie activate. And nope, we're just going to be firing off our effect right now. Baldrake banishing away the Horned Dragon. The Horned Dragon play is still going to go through. We have Apollo, USA, negate. We're now down to 6 forms of disruption. saving Apollo for a Bestial instead of using it on the Lurie early, which could be a common mindset of, you know, we have so many forms of disruption with the Apollo, why not just use them as soon as the opportunity goes there? And as I said, summoning an Anguish from the deck, we had so many different options of what to summon from the deck, but the Anguish was the obvious play, as well also triggering the Horned Dragon to wipe away the field, now at 5 forms of disruption. The Anguish is going to be searching for a Sleepy, not a Mace. That does shock me. The Mace would have been, I think, a lot better here to take control of an opposing monster, which of course we didn't even need. We now have Apollo, negate the Baldrake, and then easy win. Tier best deck, am I right? Let's go. Dead Drill Beam. Drill Beam is so good, but playing more than one Drill Beam is more than one brick in an instance like this. There you go. Rebellion Search. Ash negate. Let's go, mate. Now, if you're playing on the ladder and they activate Lubellion Search, it's possibly a branded deck. So using Ash on a Lubellion, they then follow branded fusion, that'd be wild. Well, we have just ended their turn. That was enough to end them. No Bestial Search, which the Bestial could have helped turned into a Moon of the Closed Heaven. The Barrel's gonna get off the field here as I think maybe this is a mind game of, I have a Gamma. Are you going to play around Gamma? You did see it in game 1. We have just Ash. What do we have here? We're going to summon the Horse. I think we're going to be not even trying to negate that. That is quite interesting. So we're saving the Ash for instead the Creation King fusion. Let's see how well that works out. Gaddock's going to add back. Sleepy, come forth and summon. We're going to be fusing it up. Now, of course, we're going to play through the Ash. Through the Bone Party. We're going to use it on the Twin, not even on the Creation King. Sure. Get Bone Party pop the fusion to then trigger the effect to reborn a monster in grave. First, we're going to use Triple Tactics to look at their hand. You only look at the hand if you have good plays to make, which we do have. Pop the Twin, summon the Anguish, trigger the Twin. We're going to search our deck. We have not even committed to our normal summon yet. The Memento Fusion is potentially something we're going to be setting up with the Mace. Mace will be popping. I would say pop the Sleepy to then send a card from the deck to the grave, search for Memento Fusion. We can now fuse the grave, summon a Creation King. It's lethal damage, right? Yeah, we don't have to. Y'all know it. You know it. He knows it. Everyone knows it. And this is possibly where you'd want to be saving your Ash for. But, I mean, from here, you still are going to be losing this duel. We're going to be searching for a Field Spell. Field Spell it up, Anguish Reborn, the Goblin. Goblin could send 2 cards from the deck to the graveyard, pop itself, trigger the Acheron. We are going to have the Creation also be reborn from the grave. With just the Creation King and combined Creation, that is more than enough for lethal damage. 8,400, and if the Acheron were summoned, it would then activate to allow us to directly attack over any potential Bestial summon. 2-0 against the best deck. Let's go. Winner of last week with branded Pesh. Let's go. Woo. An early droll, and Fiendsmith went straight. This was such a beautiful play. Fiendsmith, through disruption under droll, gave us access to Memento, and this was nicely done. What do we even have here? If we do anything, Combined Creation will reborn Anguish, search for a Mace, which will then take control of a monster, plus the Quadra Negate of Apollo USA, plus the Memento Fusion potentially going into another form of disruption here. That's going to be about 6 forms of disruption. Combined Creation could, of course, instead reborn a Creation King, which we already returned back, so we're going to actually go for the Anguish. 6 disrupt. I think that Memento's looking really good today. What's going on? We're going to be searching for Albion Shrouded with the High Spirits, trigger Serenir to send for the deck here. The Combined Creation is going to attempt to reborn the Anguish to search for a Mace to take control. We're going to be negating the Serenir from banishing the Anguish here. We're now down to 5 forms of disruption. 555. We did see earlier in the event using Ogre against Apollo to stop all of the disruptions she has. There's the Mace ready to take control. Albion Shrouded send from the deck a Branded Fusion. By negating the Albion, we're negating a draw 1. That's all we're negating. It still gets the Branded Fusion engraved through a cost. Retribution, add back our Branded Fusion for the grave. 4 forms of Disrupt here. Serenir, knock off 2 Disruption. And this is when Apollo is more balanced, when you could actually use the battle phase to take her out. So from 4 Disruption, we're now down to 2, up against a Branded Fusion. We're gonna normal summon a Quem. Quem is going to be taken control of as she's sending from the deck to the grave a branded card. Your Quem is mine. We're now down to 1 Disruption left. Branded Fusion. Send from the deck Lubellion and Albaz for Albion the Branded Dragon. Albion Branded Dragon ideally is not used as a part of the fusion summon. You want to get it into the graveyard through a Cartesia, Brandon White, or a Lubellion. Get it engraved to get the search in the end phase. Mercurier, when banished, will search our deck for an Albaz monster. Cartesia, not the alt art. Pesh, what are you? You won last week and you didn't spend your earnings on getting alt arts? What are you doing? Mirror Jade non-target monster banished here. We're going to Memento Fusion into whatever we summon's gonna get banished. It won't even trigger. You can't activate the twin, it's banished. Wow. Memento went from looking really good to getting absolutely clapped by Branded. Now, mind you, it is main phase 2. We did sacrifice our battle phase to take off 2 Disruption from the Apollo, which was definitely worth it, the correct play. Branded loss, also triggering search in our deck. We have another Mercurier in our deck. Yeah, there we go, second Mercurier. We have the effect to negate a monster effect. Send the Garura, draw a card here into a Gold Sark, which we're not going to even use. Albion setting up the Branded in red. The Mirror Jade already activated. We're going to search for an Albaz during the end phase. We have Cartesia also adding back engraved to our hand. As the Quem also returns back. We don't need to be counting up the forms of disruption. We have enough to get disrupted. Negate with Mercurier. Now, the combined creation would be summonable if we have 5 other Mementos. We don't. And we're also going to be banishing the Mace. Memento Fusion is going to be popping the Anguish to search our deck for a Memento Fusion. And now a Memento has been destroyed. Thus, we can now use the graveyard to get Fusion into a Creation King. Creation King on summon is not activating. We're just going to be wiping out the Grand Granule and then end the turn. We do have the effect of Creation King to pop itself and another card in the field. Okay, that's it. Then it doesn't even trigger anything in grave. So we're going for the non-target monster banish. Creation King is going to be popping. What happens here exactly? I mean, he knows he lost. We're just having fun now. Quem just reborns Mirror Jade immediately. Straight up, boom, trigger Quem, and it's back. Yep, and we even banished our own card because we had to banish something. Mirror Jade is back, activatable again. We're just having a good time. We're chilling. Lethal damage as we go into game 2. It's fine. March, I commend that, having fun with the opponent instead of just surrendering. Begin. And we have that 1 Ash. We could have Ash Anguish. We did not because they could possibly just have a horse already in the hand. We Ash the horse. Now, it does not mean that this is a bad negate. The problem is they have a lot of ways to play through disruption, even more so when they have Fiendsmith in their deck. Or monster negate on the Apollo, 2 special summon negate with the Wave King Caesar. Memento Fusion is a disruption. Combined creation can reborn a Creation King to then pop multiple cards on the field. Mace can take control of a monster. We have about 9 forms of disruption, 10 if we can get to the horn through, let's say, the field spell. So I would say 10 disruption because the Bone Party could then pop the horn. 10 is the ceiling. Let's see what's good. Lubellion, search, negate, no Serenir for your handmates. Branded in High Spirits, chained to the negate, revealing the Quem. We're going to send a Grand Granule to the graveyard, sending Quem to then search for an Albion Shrouded Dragon. Albion Shrouded will send to the graveyard by cost. The effect is to draw a card. Are we negating the ability to draw a card? Yes, you're not going to draw a card. We're now down to 8 disruptions. Upstart Goblin has been negated. We now have Aluber on summon, searching for... we're not going to even negate. We're just going to Mace take control. Okay. Yoink the Aluber. Pesh, like, I'm done. All right, you got me. 1 and 1. Let's go. Whoa, we're going to do it right away in the draw phase. And you got Bubbles on the extra deck and the deck. Aluber on summon, searching for Branded in High Spirits. High Spirits. Notice we're changing our play. Okay, you're going to hit me with the Fool Loss early. Now I'm going to be searching for different cards. Maybe I would have searched for a Branded Fusion here. I'm going to grab a Cartesia. Cartesia could summon from the hand without being affected by the Fool Loss. We also have our Branded Loss, set the Banishment. Albion's going to be adding from the deck a Branded in Red, which can be used with the Albaz Engrave. Perfectly played around that Fool Loss. That was the way. Nicely done, Pesh. Whoa. What does it mean to activate Cartesia in the main phase here? This means March literally said, I'm ending the main phase. There's no other way where this Cartesia would have been activatable, which then makes you possibly think, am I about to get evenly matched here? What's going on? Or March thought that they would think that, and knowing that he's thinking that I'm thinking that he's thinking that, we trick them and then retain the main phase after we know they're gonna activate Cartesia. Now we get the draw. Nicely done. So kind of a bait. We debated the Cartesia with a fake evenly match, drawn to Memento Fusion. But we're still bricked. We're still no good. we have no play. What the heck? This is not definitive, but I think it's a general good rule. If you don't like your hand, you don't shotgun the Maxi, you don't shotgun the Fool Loss, you have to chain it in response to them summoning from the deck or extra deck if your hand is not good enough for them to just pass on. Think of playing against, let's say, a Fiendsmith control deck. They'll happily pass on nothing because they're going to have a ton of hand traps themselves. So you got to chain, if you're bricked, to a special summon. End phase, add back the Cartesia. And our hand was so bad that we got a draw off of a Fool Loss, but we still had to pass. This is nothing. The Dead Fusion, Dead Field Spell, Dead Horn. You're supposed to search Horn. You're supposed to search Memento Field Spell. You're supposed to use the Fusion with at least 2 Mementos. Any other Memento and we would have been good. And the only actual usable cards in our back row, both of them just got hits for some reason. What? You dodged my Memento Fusion? The only card that was not activatable, I could have used Call by the Grave, I could have used Droplet. Within this turn at least. Now, because of Branded Lost, we could not chain those back row cards. You can't chain anything. And that's what's really crazy about Star Source. A lot of people don't think about this, but Branded has the ability to destroy 2 cards on your field on your turn or their turn, and you can't even respond to them destroying 2 cards. I mean, think about any deck having that ability. That is nuts. 2-1 victory. Barrel on summon, negate with the Imperm, no set of the Lordy Load, then search for a Drill Beam, then summon a Dippity to turn on the Drill Beam. The Paradise set is dead. We have Druistorm and Ash Blossom. Is Druistorm going to be good against Infernoble? Well, the ceiling is 2 forms of disruption. We have Neospace Connector, which if you don't Ash this, they now look at your hand and discard the Ash. But if you have 2 Ash, then you don't have to Ash this. So this is the rare instance where a lot of people would say you have to Ash it. You do not Ash it. Yep, I have 2 Ash. All right, delete an Ash. I have another one. And then the Isold is what you Ash. You don't Ash this effect. You Ash the second effect. They have to, by cost, send equip cards, then you Ash. This is stopping the ability from summoning a monster from the deck. Remember, what's a good Ash? When they could summon from the deck generally is going to be a great Ash. Gear Blade, if sent to the grave to activate a monster effect, add back from engrave. Gear Blade into the battle phase. This gives us a double attack, right? I get you have to like send it to the graveyard or something. End of the damage step, send it to the grave, then attack again, which we didn't really want to do. We have Imperm, we have Ash. 2 forms of disruption. The Ash on the secondary effect of Isold. The fact that we had 2 Ash is the only reason we were able to stop their turn short. We're Ash negating Magna Hut from searching for a barrel, right? If barrel's not in circulation right now, as long as they don't have a normal monster, so we're chilling. Well, we actually may go Moon in the Closed Heaven now, which means the impermanence is going to be saved for sequence. Negate the sequence, that is the way. Come forth and summon Lacrima, or we're negating Lacrima. So I did talk about the only reason you'd ever want to negate a Lacrima is if they do not have an Engraver engrave and the Requiem was already activated. So if they normal summon Lacrima Crimson Tear and you imperm that, you're a fool. Do not do that. But in this instance, it worked out. We're going to be special summoning alongside that a Renaud. Renaud on someone's going to add back the Gearfried Engrave. We're going to banish an equip card to come forth and summon our Gearfried, triggering the Gearblade to, I guess if it's sent to the grave or banished to activate, you still get it back to the hand. Very nice. We now have a Baron de Fleur. Pop the Paradise, which now gave them a disruption. They had 0 disruption, now they got 1. Take out the Necrocorp Princess here. Trigger the effect of the Gearblade. Attack again. 2K, 4K. Still not lethal damage, but that was a ton of damage. Wait, we missed lethal. What the heck? We did normal summon Connector for game. Oh, shoot. Lacrima's gonna be triggering. Oh, no, it's not triggering. It's activating the quick effect. We have Paradise already activatable whenever we want. When, the Baron de Fleur will negate the Paradise, or the Desiree being sent to the graveyard will negate that. Come forth and summon Lacrima. I think we're just trying to bait them. Get Engraver, Engrave. We're gonna send 1 equip card to summon 1 level 1 from the deck. Going into Little Knight. On summon, banish a card from the field or grave. We're gonna go straight for the Engraver play. Activate the Paradise. We're not negating the Paradise, we're waiting. What? We didn't send Desiree. We sent another Engraver. Okay, we want to have a follow-up play, sure. If we sent Desiree, we then activate to send a card, well, the Little Knight will chain banish the Baron de Fleur and the Little Knight. The Desiree doesn't really do anything whatsoever. So we just want to get the Engraver back in circulation here. Let's Lacrima into Requiem. The Engraver equipped to the Requiem is going to be able to send a monster to the graveyard, force out one of their forms of disruption, which they have Little Knight and Baron de Fleur. It now just have Baron de Fleur. Whoa, there's 2 Requiems here. What the? Equip the 1 Engrave, activate the 1 on field, summon for the deck a Lacrima Crimson Tear, going straight into a Chaos Angel here. Instead of the Engraver being destroyed by the Baron de Fleur negating it, we're going to summon an unaffected by the Baron de Fleur. And just by not summoning the Connector, it's now, this is too much, right? They're not going to have another Fiendsmith in Paradise play, but they do have Drill Beam, negate and banish anything. End the turn. Ooh, shoot. Lollipop, someone time that fool out. I don't know how to do it, it's not working. You can criticize the plays, but do not attack the player, or the mods will attack you. Barrel Engrave, add back to the hand. Engraver, return back the Moon of the Closed Heaven. Come forth and summon. 5,900 damage. We need more. More damage, please. And just like that, 8,100 damage. Lethal with Crimson Tear. Well, DD Crow would shut off the ability to recycle Drill Beam, and if this is the most important matchup, Fiendsmith Control, you'd want to win the mirror match with the DD Crow, right? We have the Roll and Engrave with the quick effect to equip to then trigger the effect to pop a card in the field. We have Negate a Spell and Trap card. We have Forcibly Negate the first spell card. We have Negate a monster. We have Negate anything with Baron de Fleur. We also have Maxi in addition to that. We plus have a Promethean Princess pop on special summon. It's a 6 form of disruption. You may be thinking, whoa, that's not even great. It's not like 10 or 11, but it's the versatility, the multiple layers, how it's actual negates. It's not just pop in response. We have negate spell and traps, negate monster, negate anything. Omni negates in a way is a lot better than just a regular form of disruption like an effect veiler, you'd have to agree with, right? Now, is the Baron de Fleur gaining an additional benefit in addition to our 6 disruption plus Max C? The monster cannot be destroyed by card effects if you had a Raigeki, and then the Emperor Charles cannot be targeted with an Imperm The Magus is given the effect of it can't be destroyed by battle, can't be targeted, and also can't be destroyed by card effects on the Baron de Floor. Okay, Tracked is just going to be negated by the Angelic Ring. Dippity, we're going to use the effect of Roland to trigger the equip effect of non-target pop a card in the field. Engraver can be negated by the Gearfried potentially, but we're going to hold on that, add the Paradise, and, well, we already used Tracked. So we gotta be thinking, why would I negate you searching for potentially a Tracked, which would be your only good play when you already activate the Tracked? Primite Roar, summon from the deck. We're not going to ash that. Dippity Doodah into a Requiem. We're likely gonna be ashing the effect of Requiem summon for the deck. Negate. Gotcha, mate. We have DD Crow. The DD Crow can channeling block Angelica potentially when they try to activate to target her, because she does need to be the direct chain to whenever is targeting her to go into the Roland. And once you go into the Roland, that's when the win rate skyrockets, right? Well, actually, the Angelica herself is 86% win rate and only goes up by 1% when she activates her effect successfully. What is Wallow going to be good against Infernoble? What the Wallow does it even do? It's going to target a card in the opponent's graveyard as a quick effect to then return it back in the deck or summon it on your field or set it onto your field. It's like a quick DD Crow. So we have DD Crow plus essentially another DD Crow plus a double special summon, negate, plus a Little Knight Chain Banish. About 5 forms of disruption. I'm not sure if I want to consider the Serenir as a form of disruption against Infernoble. So we'll just say 5. Ancho, just 5 disrupt. You could do it. Nope, we're going to negate the Oliver, attempting to summon from the hand. Negate and destroy. 4 more disrupt. The Gear Blade is going to trigger, add back to the hand here. Durandal equip onto an opposing monster, activate to search our deck, or a red layer. Special summon on an open field, and it doesn't activate. Take away the Little Knight. Now down to 3 forms of disruption. Special summon negate plus 2 graveyard banishes and or spin back or steals. Turpin, activate to special summon. Negates. Whale. No more special summon negates. We just have 2 graveyard disruptions. Is that enough? 2 graveyard disrupt. Wallow is going to steal the Turpin. Okay. Your Turpin is mine. We have not even normal summoned yet. Okay. Normal summon, regain trigger, summon Baldrake. Baldrake is another disruption. If they summon the Isolde, the Baldrake's gonna banish it. Uh-oh. Well, goodbye to Isolde, which it's our only play. We gotta do it. We can't just not do it. Banish the Isolde. Yeah, you gotta remember, Baldrake is good. Not telling Honcho to remember. Honcho couldn't really do anything. Regain, return back, drawn to another disruption. Damn. Beansmith controlling the duel. Begin. Hi, V4R. Appreciate being here. Thank you. We're searching for emergency with our normal summon lifter. Emergency is the Ash Blossom negate, not the lifter mate. Know your negates. You have Imperm or Veiler. Do you then use that on Lifter? No, you would try to use that on the Turbulence. Triple Tactics Talent. Attempt to look at the hand and rip away that Max C. So we're going to activate the Max C before you do that. And we're going to look at that hand and say goodbye to the Oak, even though Oak is not even a combo starter. Okay, Diablo Star and Oak are bricks. Senjin we would have returned back in the deck. Now, you cannot Imperm negate the Senjin, but we can use Impulse to negate the summon, thus stopping the search. And the purpose of Triple Tactics Talent is when you get hand trapped, you now get to use it to draw 2 or look at their hand. But because they impulsed or using a card like Impermanence, it's a great counter to Triple Tactics Talent. And you do want to keep that in consideration if you have a monster effect instead. So if we had Ash and Impulse, by Ash and the Senjin, it would turn on Triple Tactics Talent, then we'd be sitting on the Impulse, and maybe they'd make a lot of great plays around that. Let's go. Wanted Seeker, searching for Snake-Eyed Diablo Star. We're going to Senjin into the back row. The Impulse is waiting for a monster to activate on the field, which the Senjin is not activating as a monster on the field. You can't Imperm this. You can't chain Impulse to this. We're going to set up with the Wedju Temple. Our forms of disruption are the Masquerena could go into a double Little Knight Banish effect. We have the Apollo with a triple Monster Negate. We have the Wave King Caesar with a double Special Summon Negate. We have Promethean Princess Engrave, which will pop on Special Summon. We have Ash. We have Droll. 10 disruptions. Uh-oh. Poplar on Summon, searching for the original Sinful. Droll, no more adding from the deck for you. By putting the Fire Engine into the back row, it's actually quite funny because a Rescue Ace deck very easily gets clogged up on the back row, but we're going to still steal that Fire Engine. The Anima is going to try to suck up the Apollo USA, which Apollo could, of course, negate. We're just going to instead go into Masquerena Little Knight to banish away the Anima likely. Or we're going to go for the Airlifter, actually. We're going to chain Emergency, as the Ash Blossom is now going to negate. So we used a Little Knight, we used an Ash. We're now down to 7 forms of disruption. We're going to rescue the Fire Engine Engrave back to the hand, but because it could potentially Special Summon, we're going to Wave King Caesar negate. Airlifter also activating to summon the Impulse, which we can use Apollo USA to negate, which could chain the Impulse to summon for the deck, which we could use the Wave King Caesar to negate on Chain Link 9, or we could chain the Little Knight to chain banish away the Anima. 9 chain links. Wow. Successfully summoning the Turbulence. Apollo, negate. Airlifter, summon nothing. Negate. The Rescue. Ash, negate. The Emergency. Little Knight, banish. Nothing. Trigger, Promethean, pop. The Turbulence. Burn for 1200 with Lacrima. Flameburst, steal. The Poplar. What are we even left at in forms of disruption? We have Caesar, Special Summon negate, and Apollo, double Monster negate. So the 1-for-1 will be negated by the Wave King Caesar. And then the Apollo will negate anything that's left. What exactly is left? Pretty much nothing. Negate the 1-for-1. Alrighty. Let's easily clap this up. 10,000 plus damage here. Don't mind me. We're locked in a fire with Promethean. Does not even mean anything. Lethal damage. 1-in-1. 1-in-1. Let's rise. Deception of Sinful Spoil. We're going to be tributing off the Foolos because it's dead. Ash Blossom negate. Ash or Ogre against Deception Sinful. It's great. Now we just have Max C, but Impulse is not a play. I haven't even seen Hydrant from Slouser at all, I think. Where is your Hydrant? Poplar, in response to that, we're going to Impulse some for the deck. Max C in response to the Impulse. We do have Ash, but ideally we're using Ash against a much more impactful card like the original Sinful. Now, the original Sinful being negated by Ash would stop our turn, but then we have Cross Out Designate to negate the Ash. Come forward into Link Karibo, Poplar. We also have a Fire Monster in the grave to steal with the Hida. We could also go into the, you know, you gotta remember the Fiendsmith is now just any 2 bodies is full combo, which is kind of cringe. Ain't no way. And now we're ashing the Requiem while we still had the original Sinful, which could summon an Oak, Reborn the Poplar. It's crazy how much, I would say, hand traps got nerfed by the release of the Fiendsmith engine. Gotta make hand traps good again. What's going on? Engraver, Reborn, returning back the Moon, turning this into a Fiendsmith sequence. Sequence, Fuse of the Graveyard into Lacrima. You know, with the context of Macedol being at a low point per the analytics, this is probably another reason. We all know that Macedol is a degenerate game, and hand traps are supposed to help balance the degeneracy. But if they keep creating cards and engines and deck types that are countering the counter, then the game is just overall a degenerate game. What can I say? What the heck? A hand trap is supposed to be skip the cutscene. And when I play single player games, I'm always skipping that cutscene. And now it turns it into an unskippable cutscene endlessly. Lethal damage. Prince is here. Do you negate Prince? I would say you don't if they send the Mermail Shadows. They didn't send Mermail Shadows, so this becomes a much more better idea to potentially negate. I'm still not sure if I would negate it, but you know, no Mermail Shadow to someone from the deck. Dragoon Search for a Minstrel. Knowing that this turns into a Minstrel to look at your hand, it then makes definitely a lot more sense for the Ash to negate the Prince. Because the Prince is going to be searching for the Abyss Shrine. And the Abyss Shrine could summon the big fish from the deck onto the field. And if you don't have Maxi or Fualas to help keep that in check, then you have to Ash it. It pretty much forces it if they send Dragoon. So negate Prince if they send Dragoon. Don't negate Prince if they send the Mermail Shadow. Bro, what was that? What? Wow. Without the Abyss Shrine, that's really your ending field? Well, what did we end on? Nothing in grave activatable. Damn. We have Ash. Okay. This is the deck you're all complaining about? Primite Barrel set from the deck. The load. Damn. What went wrong is I think we got greedy by sending Dragoons. If we sent Mermail Shadow, the Ash would have negated the Mermail Shadow, but then the Prince would have gone through, grabbing the Abyss Shrine. Abyss Shrine would grab a level 7 from the deck, summon it onto the field, or add it to the hand. I think we would have had a lot more plays. Begin. What do we have here? We have Poseidro, Trigger Dragoons, Chain Maxi to draw per special summon. What do we do under Maxi when we're playing Mermail? Our Fualas is now dead. We grab a Prince. Prince grab the Abyss Shrine. Abyss Shrine, we're just going to dump her into the graveyard, actually. Imperm, negate. Nice. By dumping her in the grave, she'll be activatable during the opponent's turn, and they wasted an impermanence, I'd say. We're still summoning under Maxi. Oh my Jesus. This could discard infantry to pop a card, or the Abyss Shrine can. Either or, one of them will be triggering the infantry. We only have one form of disruption. Imperm, negates. Okay, I have Abyss Shrine. We have the Lordy Load searching for the barrel. Barrel set from the deck. Our Drill Beam. Sure. And then we have Spirit with the Eyes of Blue. I choose you, searching for the Mausoleum. Mausoleum it up. Send from the deck a Blue Eyes White Dragon, or from the hand here. We're going to tribute off the Spirit Link to summon our Blue Eyes White Dragon. I think I was incorrect to saying load, search barrel, then search for the Drill Beam. We have Ultimate Fusion into our Tyrant Dragon. Take out the Abyss Lacia, which will trigger to send from the deck a Mermail Shadow Squad, which will then reborn the Poseidra. This should not have really been a form of disruption, only if they gets destroyed, as we now get to spin a card in the field back. It goes back to the hand though, right? We're gonna bounce back. Bounce it back, as we're also triggering a Dragoons being sent from the deck to the grave. We have still not used the infantry play with the Abyss Shrine. We still got it. Goodbye to the Tyrant, summon from the deck the Prince. This worked out incredibly well. I am shocked. We're gonna infantry pop the Lordy Load before it summons a Blue Eyes from the deck? Damn. Knowing that the Drill Beam now cannot be activated. How did this work out? I feel like we got baited. What the? This should not have all happened. I could not believe that we clapped this up. That was great. You know, I was really I undermined the Abyss Lacia as just being able to trigger the infantry, but if destroyed by an opponent, it does get that additional effect of disruption here, which it definitely did. Abystius grabbing the Abyss Shrine. Grab the Poseidra, we could spin back, bounce the Drill Beam back if we want to, but mostly be triggering a card from the deck. Prince when sent to the grave, triggered to reborn. We got more than enough for lethal, of course. Spin it back, Abystius. You know, what else do we really need to send? We already know. Everything's public knowledge here. Nothing's activatable in the graveyard. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Lethal damage, not even needing to touch our extra deck for our turn 3 play. Let's hop into game number 3. I feel like you should have not won this. Something went horribly wrong. What the heck? Wow. A super conditional disruption that actually went through. It obviously was better to not destroy you, actually swing with the Tyrant and reset an impermanence. So that was a huge mistake right there. Alone right there was a problem. Okay, let's go, game 3. Let's go first. Lordy load, we're gonna feel out any hand traps here. You do want to start with Barrel over Sage because Barrel could bridge into the Sage, but not vice versa. We're going to Fool Loss before the Link 1 summon. We're still committing to that Link 1 summon because Sage is going to give us access to a Maiden, and Maiden's going to give us access to a Wishes, and Wishes could give us 2 Disruption. So think about the trade deal. You draw 1, I get 2 Disruption and follow-up. 1 for follow-up plus double disruption. Don't mind if I do. We didn't even go for the Wishes. We went straight just for the Majesty. So 1 disruption plus follow-up. Still special summoning. Well, it's summoned from the grave and we were under Fool Loss, so that was okay. That made sense until the Maxi hit us, which we didn't expect. Sure. Our forms of disruption are non-target pop, 1 card in the field, negate and banish anything, and we also have Maxi backing us up. 1 for 1, here comes the Maxi into Ash Blossom, negate. And now we have a fair duel of simply Mermail against double disruption. Now, Mermail should be able to beat double disruption. We want to pop the Prince before it activates because it will send a card by a cost. And double Prince, banished and popped. Get rid of it before it activates. Prince needs to be a trigger effect, I think, to push Mermail into tier 1. I think that would be a tier 1 deck if you were to do that. Yup, there you go. Good job to John Pork. 2-1 victory. Let's do it. Begin. Baldur's Gate 3, I'm very close to buying Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not sure if I should or not. We're going to be chaining the Maxi to the horse, summoning onto the field. Ash, negate. We have non-target, negate anything. We have triple monster negate. We have a fusion disruption. We have take control of a monster with mace. With 6 form of disruption, we could reborn the Creation King to pop cards on the field. And do we have a twin horn play? Can we possibly do it? I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pop the horn to then further pop more cards. So I'm thinking 7 disruption is what we got. Only 7. We're going to send for the deck the Necrom. Necrom's going to activate to summon an evil hero from the deck. Negate. I'm very happy to see that Magus is not playing a regular hero deck. We have evil hero. Dark. Contact. Fusion summon into the Darkest Night. Whoa. Apollo's been turned off completely. We're going to trigger the Combined Creation to reborn the Creation King. Creation King's going to pop the Darkest Night. Darkest Night triggers when popped to do what exactly? It can target a fiend or warrior in your graveyard, special summon it. We have none. Okay, that's a problem. Well, what do we do now? Main phase 2, Fusion Destiny, Desiree, negate. All right, we still have a lot more forms of disrupt, and we're pretty much done from there. We're gonna Sleepy within main phase 2, use it up. We can go into a Guardian Chimera to wipe away the back row, right? There's the Guardian Chimera. Very easily gonna be able to do that. So do get ready for that within the end of the main phase. Speed this up until we do it. Darkblade on summon, pop a back row, and then pop the final back row card with our Guardian Chimera. You got nothing. Oh my Jesus. Get wiping. Full wipage. We have the Bone Party, summon another Darkblade from the deck, trigger Akron. So stop, he's already dead, Jesus. All right, everything in attack position, and let's finish this up. Over 14,000 damage, lethal damage. Let's hop into game 2. All right, Evil Hero. The gimmick of Evil Hero is being able to permanently take control of an opponent's monster. Obviously, we didn't see that in this duel, but I'm hoping for game 2, we're gonna get Yoinkin. We're dealing with a Nibiru and a Fualos. Evil Assault's gonna summon a monster from the deck. Great time to use our Fualos. Great time to ruin the power of our deck. What are we gonna be ending on now? Summon for the deck the Dead End Prison. Dead End Prison, send by cost a Shadow Mist. And then we're going to reinforce our hand with a Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier on summon, reborn from engrave under the effect of Fualos. You don't get to draw a card as we add a Mass Change. Now, Mass Change will ensure that all of your cards are banished instead of being sent to the grave. Is that the hard counter to Memento? Is this the way? We also have Favorite Contact, which, do we have a Destiny hero or a way to do that? The Dead End has a weird effect. You send a hero from your deck to the graveyard, then if you fusion summon a hero that only this turn do you get the effect, does it get to substitute the material by that name? Okay, sure. We're gonna Golem. Golem, summon from the back row. How big is Darklaw? The Senjin could swing over it, right? Mask Change into the Darklaw. Now, unfortunately, we didn't chain it to the Golem adding, so we do not trigger the effect to banish a card from their hand right now. We're gonna Shadow Mist, grab an Elemental Hero Neos, and now the Favorite Contact's gonna be a form of disruption as we summon from the extra deck the Wham Bam, thank you ma'am, Shining Neos Wingman to pop multiple cards. Requiem. It's all getting banished. Oh my jeez, Little Knight is the way, that's the play. Did not go for Darklaw. Wow. Okay, keep the Darklaw up. Put into the back row, the Senjin is going to be big enough to simply swing over the Darklaw. We're going to trigger Darklaw to randomly banish, and then we're going to Little Knight, also get the Darklaw off the field. And is this the end for heroes? Goodbye to Senjin. Bone Party has to pop a Memento. Wow. Bone Party being dead is insane. I can reasonably understand Memento Fusion sometimes being dead, but not the Bone Party. We're going to send from the deck for the effect of the Dead End Prison. It's a cost to send, and the effect is to be a fusion substitute for your Dark Fusion play. Let's banish you away. We have Valiant, and of course, all of our own cards are properly being sent to the graveyard. Only the opponent's cards are getting banished. Grab that Polymerization, Dark Fusion, whatever we summon will be untargetable. Neos Lord is the control taker. On summon, take control permanently. 7650 damage, and you're at 4,000 thanks to the Millennium cards. Just like that, lethal damage. Nicely done. Very nice. Oh yeah. No hand traps. We do have a board breaker here. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, that's what we would search for with the Dusted Gold. So the cope here is that because we have Droplet, they don't negate with Ash. They try to negate with Desiree instead, which will chain link block the Ash, and then we just Droplet negate the untargetable Desiree. They have negate anything, plus negate 3 monster effects, plus reborn a monster, the Creation King to pop cards, and then fuse, and then Ash and Droll. They have about 8 disruptions here. Here lives. Chain Droplet. They didn't even try to use the Ash. Send just 2? Just 2? Is 2 enough? The Combined Creation is a form of disruption by reborning the Creation King, but you could argue that they have multiple ways to get to that Creation King. They could Field Spell Reborn, triggered with the Bone Party, that is. They could even just summon a Creation King with the Memento Fusion. Stratos on summon, search the deck. Shadow Mist, when sent to the grave, search the deck for a hero. Combined Creation, summoning that Creation King to get popping. We can pop 2 cards on the field right now. We have Ferris. Ferris discard the Malicious to set up the increase. Droll and Lockbird is here. A Dusted Gold now cannot search for a Dark Fusion play. Evil Assault could still summon from the deck. Theris could still set up a situation where he could summon a Vine, send from the deck to the grave, but not search for a Polymerization. Acheron Reborn after a card has been destroyed. Evil Assault, get the Malicious Engrave, summon the End Prison. Mace, take control of the End Prison before the open game state ability of sending a card from the deck to the grave. We're now going to get popping with the Creation King. We're going to trigger the Acheron, add a card back, as the field spell also reborns a monster in grave. Now, again, we could Bone Party of Pop the Creation combined if it was negated by Droplet, and the field spell would have reborn the Creation King. You know, through a Dark Lord or more, they still would have got us, even if we negated everything. Leaving up the combined creation was still going to lead to a loss, whether we negate it or not. You all whipped out Sprite last week on the first event of the new ban list. And then what happened? You're just like, okay, that was fun. I'm going to go back to Snake Eye Fiendsmith, and I'm going to go back to Fiendsmith Control. So Sprite had one good week in just the very first week. Wow, that is quite unfortunate. Let's go. Pressure Planet, and maybe someone would be like, yeah, well, now Foolos exists, and Foolos be clapping up Sprite potentially, I guess. We're going to Original Sinful, send the field spell, summon from the deck, Snake Eye Ash. Now, there's no forms of disruption here, so let's speed this up. Snake Eye Fire King. There you go. So no Fiendsmith in this deck, because we're going to benefit from playing the Impulse instead. So on the deck in Oak, Reborn, the add back the Ponix. I would say Snake Eye Fiendsmith is better, but I would say Snake Eye Fire King. Wait, how are you playing both? You're not playing Impulse? You're playing Snake Eye Fiendsmith and Fire King and Millennium? Of course your deck's not 40 cards, because that would not make sense. That's a lot of cards in your deck, Spectre. What even is this? This is like, what, 20 disruption? We have Droll and Lockbird disruption. We're not going to count the Unicorn or the Birth Banish as a disruption. We have double negate with the Apollo-Say. We have Desiree negate anything on the field. We have the Ambler Whale destruction effect when a Link 3 or lower is destroyed. We have Promethean Princess, which will be special summoning and destroying on a special summon. We have the Garunix trigger, which will, with the Kirin, summon, then pop a card, and the card that we're going to summon is going to be an Arvata, which will be a monster negate. It's about 8 forms of disruption, I guess. Yeah, okay. 8, mate. Let's do it. Oh, nope. It's 10, because the Amble Whale reborns Masquerina. I didn't see the Masquerina initially, and then Masquerina is a double banish. It's actually 11 if the Sanctuary could summon a Hayang, if we're playing it. We're not. So only 10. Only 10. Couldn't even get 11. We're going to set up 2 toys into the back row. Summon a Rusia. Draw a card here. We are not negating with the Apollo. Now we are. Negate the Toy Soldier, and also you're not able to further add any more cards from the deck to the hand. So we go from 10 disruption down to 8. Toy Soldier would have been searching and reborning. Triple Tactics Talent. This is what you want to use Desiree on board breakers. They try to break your board, you negate. 7 disruption, to battle we go. Link Rebo protecting the Apollo-Say. Radus. Wow, 7 other forms of disrupt, and we're chilling. All right, let's clean them up. Pop the Kirin, trigger the Kirin, summon Arvata, pop a card, also trigger the Garunix. Oh my Jesus. It's gonna be that 20,000 damage on the field. What is this? A boost, 12,000, monster negate, pop a back row, 14,000 damage. Say goodbye to the Rusia as we take this into game number 2. Oh, Spectre, okay, looking at the extra next, valid. It's information for game 2. We probably should have surrendered before that attack. A Stellar. This is a good Ash. Elzette is also a good Ash. 2 good Ashes. And that is our final form of Disruption. Moa Regina is here. Special summon an illusion monster here. Silhouette's back on the field. Into a Little Knight. These are plays. Yup, those are plays. Silhouette set, you're finished. I never even thought about doing something like that. That's quite insane. If 10 or more cards or effects are activated from either player, it counts it in total. And that's now going to summon this. And then after that, if your opponent activates anything, you could then chain to destroy as many cards as possible that your opponent controls. Crazy. I'm going to count that as one total disruption. You have Little Knight Chain Banish. You have Mo Regina, which what's going to make this activatable? When an Azamina or Sinful Spoil effect is activated, you destroy 2 cards on the field. Azamina, Sinful Spoil. Saint Azamina would activate, right? How is this going to activate? This, only the turn it was fusion summoned could activate. I'm not really sure how we trigger this. Do we have a way to trigger it? Or do we really just have 2 forms of disruption? Okay. Banish the Stellar. Magna Hut activates. Your finish is counting, right? We're going to Ash, search for the Ponix. Normal summon used on the Ponix, searching for the Sanctuary. Further going into a Nightmare Phoenix. And say goodbye to You're Finished. RIP. I mean, if that was good enough to go into a Phoenix instead of a Moon of the Closed Heaven, then that was pretty good, right? Ate up the Fiendsmith plays. Trigger the Flameburst, Reborn. I mean, what's this finger doing? This was a You're Finished and a Little Knight. They're gone. So, Moa Regina, we hope that they activate a Sinful Spoil card. Or they activate an Azamina card. The Saint Azamina says your opponent cannot target cards with card effects, their own cards, nor this card, and it's now gone. So if that was actually stopping anything, it now does not. Promethean Princess doesn't even target your own card, nor does the Garunix does not target, or I should say the Kirin does not target when reborning. Well, we still went into Fiendsmith. We actually did not stop them by getting them to go into the Phoenix. We're going to Lacrima, send from the deck, Engraver Reborn by returning back the Moon, Requiem equip onto the Engraver, say goodbye to the Moa Regina, sequence it up, ready to fuse with the Graveyard, triple body into the Desiree. As we now turn this into a Promethean Princess, as we likely don't have room for the Ignumde. Reborn back the Flameburst, push back the Diablo Star, over 14,000 damage. Let's go. If you're a White Forest enjoyer, you have a great future ahead of you. You really do. It's going to be a great deck. If we look at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta tier list here, I think OCG would probably be best to look at. White Forest, kind of up there. What are the newer cards? The Diablo Star Vengeance, the Diabel's White Witch, 3 of the new field spell. You're going to put in the Philia Diabel alongside the Diablo Star package. You also have the Snake Eye Vengeance Dragon. Lots of new support on its way. Thank you for watching the top 16. We're now going to be advancing to the top 8, grand finale, and top deck list, as we'll be starting off with Blue Eyes. Let's do it.